Hi, it's Gianna
and Rachel,
and welcome to Bozewomen Science Video 1.
Today's video is on evolutionary change.
Specifically, genetic drift and changing allele frequencies.
Evolution is a gradual change in a population over time. Even simpler, evolution is a change in the gene pool. As allele frequencies in a gene pool change, so do the characteristics of a group of species.
A mechanism of evolution is genetic drift. Genetic drift is a shift in the frequency of alleles due to chance events rather than by natural selection. A chance event is an event that is not caused by the individual organism itself, but rather a spontaneous event that is not predicted.
This event affects the organism in many different ways and can even affect an organism's survival.
These alleles we keep mentioning are just simple variant forms of a gene.
Although there are alleles in every population and genetic drift can happen to any size population, it tends to affect smaller populations more drastically.
Exactly, Rach. That is because smaller populations are impacted more by these chance events, since there are less organisms to buffer the effects of the event. A larger population is less affected by chance events since there are more organisms. Therefore, a change in the population will have a less decimating impact.
Over time, genetic drift can reduce genetic variation as alleles randomly fluctuate, causing some alleles to become more common and others to be lost in a population.
Genetic variation is super important.
Yeah, super duper important.
Without variation, no new genes would flow in the gene pool. Genetic variation is advantageous to organisms and allows for a greater chance of survival to a population.
There are two major types of genetic drift. One is the bottleneck effect, and the other is the founder effect. Hey, Gianna, do you know what time it is?
I think it's lab time.
I think you're right.
The bottleneck effect is an extreme reduction in population size. This drastic change is due to a sudden change in the environment of the organism. As a result of this sudden change, the resulting gene pool will not reflect the original population. The population may get smaller and it may recover over time eventually, but there is still a great loss of genetic diversity. If the population still remains small, it may be subject to further effects of genetic drift.
Cheetahs are an example of the bottleneck effect. These organisms share a small number of alleles with very low genetic variation. This low rate of variation is due to two bottleneck effect occurrences: the Ice Age, which occurred 10,000 years ago, and more recently, poaching and loss of habitat. The Ice Age, killing off many cheetahs, limited genetic diversity. The few cheetahs that survived reproduced and passed their alleles to the next generation. As a result, all cheetahs are almost identical. The founder effect occurs when a few individuals become isolated and break off from a large group, establishing a new colony. Allele frequencies in the smaller founder population may be different than those in the larger parent population, not representing the genetic diversity in full. If a smaller group breaks off from a population, chance will take over, causing two separate populations to develop. These two populations can have different gene pools as a result of chance events.
For example, there are 4 blue and 4 orange butterflies in a population. This original population is located in a forested area on one island. Due to very strong winds, a few butterflies drifted opposite of their original path to another island. This group of butterflies consisted of 2 blue butterflies and 1 orange one. This population established a new colony in a new place. This new population does not represent the genetic diversity of the original population.
That concludes today's lab demonstration.
If you take anything away from this video, it's important to know that although both effects may seem quite similar, they are very different in the way they occur.
Evolution is the sequence of events depicting the gradual progression of changes in the genetic composition of a biological population over successive generations. Alleles are pairs of genes occupying a specific spot on a chromosome. Frequency is the number of members of a population or statistical sample falling in a particular class. Genetic variation is the variation of genomes between members of species or between groups of species thriving in different parts of the world as a result of genetic mutation. Genetic drift is the process of change in the frequency of an allele in a population over time. The bottleneck effect is a disastrous event in a habitat that occurs by chance rather than by natural selection and greatly decreases the genetic diversity of the population. The founder effect is the effect on the resulting gene pool that occurs when a new isolated population is founded by a small number of individuals possessing limited genetic variation relative to the larger population from which they came from.
To make it simple, try to remember that the bottleneck effect occurs purely due to natural phenomenons or disasters, and the founder effect is mechanized by colonization.
So yeah, that's genetic drift.
Again, it's just a shift in allele frequencies due to chance events. Just remember that the elimination of any allele is strictly due to chance.
All of these events are completely out of the organism's control. Anything can happen, you know?
Bio is life, and life is crazy sometimes.
So yeah, I hope that's helpful. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe down below.
Hit that notification bell, turn notifications on, get updates on every time we post.
See ya!
See ya, stay curious. Just a little disclaimer here, this production is not affiliated with the very similar Bozewomen Science. Thank you.